The most successful era in the history of wrestling was launched from a double turn following a classic 5-star match, which not only took place with a great rivalry, but it took place with two guys that had unique chemistry for one another. I'm talking about Bret Hart and Steve Austin. Their submission match with Ken Shamrock as the special referee from WrestleMania 13 from the Rosemont Horizon, Chicago, Illinois, in March of 1997, is universally recognized as a 5-star match. This war was incredible and still holds up today. The double turn only makes it more socially significant, but the war and the bumping from both men, the brutal physicality, how both men sell. Austin taking a back body drop going up the stairs. The camera doesn't even get a good shot of it, but you know he's bumping hard. These two went everywhere, around the ring, in the ring, to the ring post, to the guardrail, to the steps, everywhere. The fans got involved. It was just incredible. I just watched that match last, and I purposely left that to be the last match I watched going into the interview because I knew I wanted to interview going into the review because I knew I wanted it to end it on a high note. All due respect to Undertaker and Sid, I wanted to end it on a higher note. So I rewatched that match last, and my God, it still holds up today. It makes this WrestleMania a pass just for the fact that it's on it. But let's look at the other parts of the event. It got a 0.77 buy rate, which is terrible. One of the lowest drawing WrestleManias of all time. But the work they did in 1997, I'm talking about the WWE here, when they were the WWF, the work they did in 1997 was shown more in the success of 1998. So they were laying the groundwork for some great stuff, even though the buy rate was down. You can blame 1995 and some of 96 for why the buy rate was down in early 97, but the stuff they were doing in 97, it was top notch, and that's why 1998 was big. As was the good 1998 shows, of course, too. You have to give that credit. Billy Gunn defeated Flash Funk in the free-for-all. And then let's get WrestleMania 13 Heat over with. And Heat is just the term of the event, not Sunday Night Heat. That didn't come into existence until a couple years after this. The Headbangers versus the New Blackjacks, Wyndham and Bradshaw, versus the Godwins versus Doug Furnas and Phil LaFawn in a 4-way elimination match, with the winner receiving a tag title shot the next night on Raw. So this was a little bit sloppy because all 4 teams could tag each other in and outside of the ring. There was action, but in the end it was the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, that put away Phineas Godwin at 10:39 to win. And that got a good pop. They get a tag title match the next night on Raw. I'm not sure if they won. I don't think they did. But it was a decent opener. Like I say, a little bit all over the place, so only a 1.5 stars. But the babyfaces did win, so the crowd was somewhat satisfied. Next, we got Rocky Maivia, the defending Intercontinental Champion, who was booed to high hell here. He got X-Pac heat in a horrible way. Die Rocky Die chants in this match. Versus the Sultan, who is Rikishi, his cousin, with Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik for the WWF IC title. Lawler was hysterical throughout the duration. And during this match, he says, what did he say? He says, I'm so tired of hearing about Rocky Maivia. Who cares? He said, I'm so sick of hearing about Rocky Maivia and his old man Rocky Johnson. Who cares? And McMahon goes, obviously, some people do care. And that was a bad impression of Vince, but the King just said what we all thought. The crowd, anyway, was chanting, Rocky sucks very badly. They actually had to get Rocky Johnson to come in after this. The Rock retained his title at 9:45 as he won out of literally nowhere, grabbing the tights, hooking the Sultan for a 3 count. The fans popped because of it's over, not the fact that The Rock won. Rocky Maivia comes in to slam the Sheik down from the outside. This match was terrible. 3/4 of a star. The Rock would find his footing, to say the least, but not at this event. Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China versus Goldust with Marlena. Both ladies got at it a little bit when Marlena flew off the apron right into China's arms. Helmsley and Goldust always had good chemistry. They met 2 months before the Royal Rumble in a pretty good Intercontinental title match. I remember that being a 15 to 20 minute match. This one went 14-28. Both guys told a good story. It's pretty methodical. It's slow in parts. But it had a good story in it. I gave it 2 stars. It was the best match of the night by far to this point. Owen and the Bulldog defended their tag titles against Mankind and Vader for the world. So you got the tandem of Bulldog and Owen, and then you got the diversity of Mankind and Vader. 2 guys that had classics together, Mankind and Vader. But now they're a team. Owen was hilarious in the entrance. Jim Ross walked up to them and said, "Owen, you having problems with Davey Boy? Who's the leader of the team?" And Owen goes, "I'm the leader, and I'll go." Yeah, that was hilarious. Owen Hart, once again, in a tag match at WrestleMania. This is the 3rd WrestleMania in a row where he's in a tag match. He won the tag titles with Yokozuna 2 years before this, and then he won a 6-man tag the year before this. 1 year before this. So there was good power wrestling. The commentary was great. Lawler was hilarious again on commentary, where JR goes, "Be careful, King. Stu might take it to the dungeon." And then Lawler goes, "Stu!" Like, Stu could do that? You have to hear it to laugh. Bulldog again, hard throw to Foley. Sends Foley into the guardrail with a ton of power. I wrote that Foley drops down and slaps on a claw. Vader unmasked, now charged towards Owen. Mankind with the claw on the Bulldog gets knocked out of the ring, still applying the claw as Vader Irish whipped Owen Hart into both of them, and it's a big mess everywhere. The bell rings and the fans boo. As the end, Bulldog and Owen retain the titles by countout at 16:08. This match should have had a better ending, but because it was quite good in parts. 2.5 stars. That's how I wrote it a decade ago, and I'm going to stick to that rating. 2.5 stars. And I'm going to stick to the rating for the next match, too. Bret Hart versus Steve Austin in a submission match with special ref Cam Shamrock. Just going to elaborate on what I already touched on in the intro. Austin gave it his all. I mean, you don't even have to read my play-by-play review. King was great on commentary. It's WrestleMania, baby. It's a WrestleMania war. I love it. The spot that I really love in the middle was when Bret puts the chair on his leg braces, the same legs that he's been working on the entire match. Austin takes the chair off, and when Bret's on the top buckle to try and break Austin's leg, Austin gets the chair and smacks Bret and does his head nod, and the crowd cheer, and King yells, "It's WrestleMania, baby!" Or how about when Austin tackles Bret at the beginning, and then they throw fisticuffs right in front of the WrestleMania sign, and then King goes, "It's WrestleMania, I love it, it's a war." Then they go up the steps. After this ring, Austin's 6th thud on the ring post. And then he atomic dropped Bret on the guardrail. Then a clothesline into the fans. And these shots are stiff. They're landing like right on. Austin got a fan's drink and spit it on Bret. And then Bret back body dropped Austin on the concrete steps. God, thrown right into the boards where the Chicago Blackhawks played hockey at the time. There was boards like a penalty box. They didn't take them out. And then Austin threw Bret right into that head first. Coming back in the ring, Bret obviously got to work on Austin's legs until Austin got that momentum with the chair shot to Bret. Austin hit the stunner. Austin obviously dominated, and then he did a submission move, torquing the knee to the head of Bret and tried to get Bret to submit, followed by a Boston Crab, then his signature elbow drop off the middle of the rope. Bret Hart then went to work on Austin's entire body, not just the legs, and then they brawled outside the ring again where the steps were involved, and then the guardrail, Austin was bleeding. The ring, Austin started to choke Bret Hart with the wire. Bret Hart takes the ring bell and hits Austin in the head. The sharpshooter attempted, Austin kicked off, and then bloody mess dominating Bret all over the ring until Bret does get the sharpshooter on the second time, and then Austin passes out. There's a lot I'm missing, but it's a 5-star match, and the work that made Bret a heel, the facial expressions, the body language afterwards, the little interaction with Shamrock, was so great. And then Austin not wanting any help and limping out to chance while he's a bloody mess. You can't write this stuff. It's just magic. 5 stars. The greatest wrestling match in history, I think. I don't know. Calling some match the greatest of all time, Taker Michaels, WrestleMania 25, Flair Steamboat, Wrestle War 89. I don't know. I mean, Benoit Angle, Royal Rumble 03. It's tough to know. Macho Man, Steamboat, and Savage. It's tough to know. Anyway, the Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson took on the Nation in a 6-man Chicago street fight. And I say anyway as if, oh yeah, just a Chicago street fight. Well, can you believe that the match that follows that is a Chicago street fight? So, I mean, the fans, Ross even said that's going to be a tough act to follow. So I felt sorry for all these guys having to go out there. But the fans were still popping for it. I mean, they brought everything. They even brought the kitchen sink. In the end, 10:45, the LOD and the Ahmed Johnson won the street fight after all hell broke loose. D'Lo came to the ring. Hawk from the top ropes. Josh crushed with the Doomsday device. Ahmed Johnson with the Hawk runs the 2x4 into Crush, and they get a 3 count. Farouk would then knock Savio Vega and Crush out of the Nation later on, and then he would recruit guys like The Rock, D'Lo Brown, and Kama, and others. This match was a ton of fun at just over 10 minutes. It didn't go long, and it was a great choice to follow Austin and Hart still with the crowd in a frenzy. 2 stars and 3/4. Then the main event happens. So you have 2 war thrill rides, and then you get a Psycho Sid main event. It's kind of like WrestleMania 8 with Piper and Hart and Savage and Flair. 2 war rides, and then you put a Sid in the main event again, like he was with Hogan. Now it's Sid with Taker, and it's Zombie Taker too, right? So it's not the actually Taker. No, Taker was coming around. He was becoming a fast striker in 1997, but it's almost Zombie Taker, where he moves slowly and methodically. So that would have made this match unbearable, but compared to the last 2, no. Shawn comes out for commentary. Bret Hart comes out. Sid tells him to get his whining ass out of there. And it's incredible how many things lined up in 1997 for things to go down the way they went down. It's just incredible. Anyway, Sid and Taker put on a decent match. There's rumors about this match that Sid shit himself, but I don't think so. I think we'd hear more about it now, especially with all the interviews. But maybe he did. I don't know. It would have been a great metaphor for the match. I give the match 1.25 stars. Most of that's just for the Undertaker winning the title. He puts Sid away from a tombstone at 21:19 to become the champion. The event, I'll give a 5 out of 10. All 5 points were because of Stone Cold and Bret Hart. Then there was a good street fight, maybe a point from that too. But overall, the whole WrestleMania gets a 5 out of 10. The greatest match of all time is good enough of half that 10. And the other half, no, come on, you got to get better at WrestleMania. And they'd learn, because the WrestleMania after this was quite better. Alright, we'll see you for that review. I'm Brett Mix for WrestleMania 13. For Macho Wrestling 101, hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.